As if there was ever a doubt, here we are with our feelings. Welcome to Notsam Wrestling, an emergency podcast right after Survivor Series, right after War Games. It's about how we feel. When I say we, of course, I'm talking about myself, and I'm talking about the one and only Megan Morant. Megan.
Sam.
Do we have feelings?
We have a lot of feelings after Survivor Series.
Okay, we got to get into it because we knew going in there were going to be feelings, and this is the thing that happens in this world of wrestling is that sometimes our feelings can direct us to thinking things are going to go a certain way. They don't go a certain way. They do go a certain way. Even when you have a scenario like this where there are so many different possibilities, things become so big in our heads, and the buildup becomes so big that it becomes difficult to satisfy that. We've only had a few minutes because the emergency podcast is about feelings. We'll have an analysis on the Monday show.
Yep.
But straight after, we just watched the show upstairs. We come downstairs to the Notsam studio. Did the men's War Games match, did it meet your expectations?
I am still processing my feelings because I am not feeling what I thought I was going to be feeling.
Right.
I thought I was going to come down here into the emergency podcast feeling studio, look at the podcasting version of the Ulafala, which we know is the siren, and
that's what makes me the podcast tribal chief.
That's correct. And declare to you and to all of the listeners that I am officially Team New Bloodline, but that's not how I'm actually feeling after Survivor Series. That is what I was prepared to feel heading into Survivor Series.
Wow, we actually have audio of what Megan was going to say. This is the podcast that was supposed to be cut.
I love you solo.
I told you to clip it.
I know.
I texted you today. I said, clip that Jacob Fatu. I'm going to need it for the emergency show.
Well, because every time we think, and I make this mistake, I think you make this mistake, we all make this mistake every time any of us think, okay, we got it all figured out, and I do it more than anybody.
Yep.
I'll get on 1 week, and I'll map the whole thing out for the next 6 months. A week later, I go, scratch all that because everything changed.
I thought Paul Heyman was turning.
Of course.
I thought that Solo was pinning Roman.
They said, who do you think's going to turn on who? I said, everyone's turning. I said, Punk's a heel. Paul Heyman's new bloodline. Here comes Seth Rollins. Brock Lesnar and The Rock are both back there, a tag team now. It was happening.
Yeah.
And I even said, here's the one thing. And people go like this, it was too expected. Except, I go, here's the one thing I know is not going to happen. I know the OG Bloodline's not winning this thing.
That's what I thought too.
Well, then guess what? We got the unexpected.
And at the end, I'm waiting for someone to come out. I'm watching like this. Who's it gonna be?
Yeah.
Who's it gonna be? Oh, nobody.
Dude, that's not an exaggeration. Because we're watching, and literally the music video comes on, and they're recapping the women's War Games match, and I go, that's it. And you go, but is it?
It's true.
And I go, yeah.
I know. We're waiting. I'm waiting for the copyright. Where's the copyright? Last year, Triple H got us with the copyright, and then we heard Punk's music. But once that music video hits, it's really over.
It's really over. At some point, they're going to figure out that that's the new, it's really over, and they're going to interrupt it, and something else is going to happen. But I swear, man, and I think when you talk about processing your feelings, I was so tense for the whole last 5 minutes of that match. When, I would say from the time Jimmy Uso was on top of the War Games cage, I was like, oh my God, because it could all go right or it could all go wrong. Yep. You know, I walked in going, I'm a fairly well-documented fan of the original Bloodline. I would say so. But I walked in going, okay, this isn't just nostalgic, let's celebrate this bloodline one more time. This could be the whole destruction. You know, I was ready for all these scenarios. And I'm watching the end of this thing. And first I see Jimmy on top of the cage. Because that's the other thing. I'm sitting there thinking, and I'm Charlie Day and Always Sunny. And I'm going, who's got more problems with the bloodline than Sami Zayn? Nobody. And they go, well, Kevin Owens going to be mad at his friend Sami Zayn, isn't he? And I go, not if Sami Zayn turns on the bloodline. And I go, oh my God, what if that happens? But what if Jimmy turns on the bloodline? Because Jay can't, right? Because Jay would, but what if Jay does? So I'm sitting there, right? And Jimmy's perched on top of the thing. And I go, oh my God, what if he overshoots Jacob on purpose and does a big splash to Sammy and Jay, who are in the ring with him, and takes them out right now? I go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then boom, he takes out Jacob Fatu. Amazing. I go, okay, that was amazing. But then he goes over to where Sammy and Jay are. And I go, oh my God, what if Sammy and Jay turn on Jimmy? What if Jimmy and Sammy turn on Jay? I'm like, I'm having a panic attack.
I've been wondering, are we going to get heel Sammy? So that thought crossed my mind as well because of what we've seen going on with Kevin.
Right. But
everything's intertwined.
Everything's intertwined. I go, what if Seth Rollins comes out at some point? And then I go, okay, it seems like the three of them are on the same page for right now. And then they go and they pick up Punk, and I go, oh my God, what if Punk turns on them? What if they turn on Punk? Like you could feel that the match was reaching its climax.
Yes.
Okay, I can always feel when someone or something is reaching its climax, and that's how I felt about the match. Is what I'm saying.
Okay,
the War
about
Games
the
match.
Okay.
Stay with me, man.
All right.
So. And then Punk doesn't hit them, and they don't hit Punk, and I go, oh, and then they go over to Roman Reigns, and they prop him up in the corner, and I go, oh my God, so many things could happen. What if CM Punk hits him with a knee? What if Sami Zayn hits him with a haluva kick? What if the two Usos sandwich him with super kicks? What if our OTC goes down to all? What? And then he doesn't. And I go, but what if he does? Because then Solo finds himself in the ring, and the ultimate justice is happening, right?
Yes.
The ultimate justice, where this guy, who we've all had, well, almost all of us except for one person.
I love you, Solo!
Everyone else has had such disdain for Solo Sikoa. And I'm seeing this. And by the way, Paul Heyman has come to the ring late.
Yes, we were wondering where Paul was.
That's right.
Where's Paul? He wasn't there during the entrance.
Not at all. He wasn't there until the match officially began. He wasn't even there when Roman was trying to get into the cage.
No.
But now he's out there, and I go, well, he doesn't even seem like he's had a one-on-one conversation with Roman Reigns yet, and those are two guys that have to talk.
Yeah, especially, Roman and Paul have to talk, but then you throw in CM Punk in the mix. It's like we all need to talk.
Seems like Punk and Paul have talked.
Yeah, they've discussed.
Oh, they've discussed, and Roman doesn't know what they've discussed.
No.
So I'm sitting there going like, oh my God, 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 oh my God. And the 5 bloodlines are now surrounding Solo Sikoa.
And Cole had the great line saying that Solo Sikoa was Judas of the OG bloodline.
And he was. He betrayed all of them to start his own thing, and now he's getting his comeuppance. But part of me is going, karmically speaking, karma, does the bloodline deserve to get revenge on Solo Sikoa? Is everything that Solo Sikoa is doing karma that the Judgment Day is, I'm sorry, not the Judgment Day, that the bloodline has brought upon themselves, meaning all the evil that Roman did in the last 3.5 years, leading to this. Maybe he deserves this. And if he deserves this, does he really deserve to get revenge on Solo Sikoa? And I'm literally having these deep philosophical thoughts as we're sitting on the couch watching this.
And you're thinking, Solo Sikoa started this version of the bloodline because losing has consequences, right?
Right.
So he did this because he felt he had to.
Right. And Roman did put him in that spot as being like, you're going to be the next tribal chief. So I'm sitting there going like, oh my God. And they're all surrounding Solo Sikoa. And maybe this is just because that old woman known as wrestling has broken my heart so many times before. I just every time she draws me back in, she gets me again. And I'm going, we can't have nice things as wrestling fans. Maybe if you've just been watching for the last 2 years, you think you get nice things, but we don't.
No.
Historically speaking, we can't have nice things. We never get them. And when we get them, we ruin them. So we don't get nice things. And I'm going, are we getting something nice here? We couldn't be getting a nice thing.
It can't just be a nice finish.
No, it can't be the good guys finally putting the bad guy down once and for all.
No, it can't be that.
No. So
we need interference. We need something more.
Right. This is a pay-per-view. We need a schmoz.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the schmoz.
And so I'm sitting there. We all were waiting for the schmoz, weren't we?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, right? And I'm looking around, and I'm not just looking because I see that Solo is surrounded, and Solo is like doing that thing that every like in every gangster movie when he realizes that, oh, you too? Oh, you too? Oh, you've turned on me too, huh? Huh? You know what it was? Oh my God, I figured out what the movie was.
What is it?
Solo Sikoa was Denzel at the end of Training Day.
Oh.
When he looks around
yep.
and he's saying, King Kong ain't got nothing on me. And that was Solo going like, who do you like looking around, and he realizes his goose is cooked.
Yep.
But he's sitting there going like, oh, no, because he's swaggy Solo now. We've seen the evolution happen. But while he's doing that, I'm looking around at the people around Roman going, what if there's another Judas here? There's been a Judas before. Who's to say there's not another Judas? And I'm worried that Punk's going to do something. I'm worried that Heyman's going to jump in the ring and step between Solo and Roman.
And Roman was acting like, a little heelish, right? How we saw him come out of the cage.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll get into...
we could get into that more, but it felt like Roman was a little heelish. So I was waiting for it too.
Well, here's the beauty of Roman. He hasn't changed that much.
Correct.
Right. So when we start getting finishes on Solo, that's when I realize, oh my God, it's all happening. When who hit Solo first? I want to say Jimmy and Jay. Yes, Jimmy and Jay got Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Then he ends up in the corner.
Sammy.
They prop him up so that Sammy can hit him with that haluva kick.
Mm-hmm.
He moves forward so that Punk can hit him with the GTS. And then Roman hits him with the spear, and you want to believe this is too pleasant to be true. 2, 3. And I go, they did it! They did it! My OTC won! The Bloodline is what, tomorrow morning? I was already prepped. I was already ready to try to like sit my son down and go, even with your other favorite wrestler, CM Punk, the Bloodline didn't get him done. Do you understand that tomorrow morning? I get to sit down with my boy and say, oh, no, it was the OG Bloodline. He's going to be bouncing off the walls.
Your job as a parent just got significantly easier.
And then we're going to go see Moana, too. We get to see our Uncle our Uncle Final Boss.
What a day.
What a day.
This is going to be great. You have no worries anymore.
No. And then watching Paul Heyman, right? So then we get the Bloodline embracing CM Punk, right? And we have the Usos embracing him, which is not a surprise because the friendship in real life and in kayfabe, because it's all blended together now, between the Usos and CM Punk is well documented.
Yep, it's real.
So the Usos embracing him is expected. Sami Zayn, of course, they have a history together. And then it gets down to Roman Reigns and CM Punk. And this is, to me, the first piece of the next story.
Mm-hmm.
Roman Reigns and CM Punk shake hands. And I'm looking at both of them going, do you have any idea the devil that you just made a deal with? Roman Reigns shaking CM Punk's hand and CM Punk shaking Roman Reigns' hand. Both of them flesh to flesh with the devil. CM Punk embracing the guy who terrorized WWE for 3.5 years, that has nothing but enemies, that literally his minor connection with Cody Rhodes has been enough to drive Kevin Owens crazy to the point that he wants to inflict the worst kind of bodily harm on our WWE champion, and Roman Reigns embracing the most polarizing, controversial figure in the history of WWE, who, by the way, he knows. His brother, Seth Rollins, absolutely despises. And these two both embrace the other, both simultaneously making a deal with a different devil.
And then there's the question of, what is this favor?
Oh, they get out of the ring.
We learned returned on Friday Night SmackDown.
Oh, yes.
During that cinematic sit-down exchange between Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Paul Heyman, that there was a favor promised to CM Punk for helping out the original Bloodline. And the wise man told Roman, just get through the match. I'll tell you about the favor later.
You don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about it.
Well, now he needs to worry about it.
Yeah, if it even concerns Roman. Favor was from the wise man.
That's true.
So they leave the cage one at a time. Usos are happy to see the wise man. Sammy embraces the wise man. Good old times. Sammy's real good. Sammy's an optimist.
He really is.
Sammy remembers the good times, casts away the bad times. That's the way people should be. You know what I mean? Sammy had a lot of fun. Yeah, it ended on rough terms, but sometimes, look.
It was oozy.
It was a
lot of fun.
It was oozy. It's like Sammy's relationship with the Bloodline is like when you see an ex and you're like, hey, what's up? Yeah, let's go hang.
Yeah,
let's go get a meal.
It was fun.
Right? And usually when you see an ex, you're not trying to get back together with them.
No.
First meal that was fun. I'm glad we got lunch. That was a great time.
Yeah, it was good.
I guess we could get lunch again. Sure. By the third lunch, you remember every reason why you hated that person, but we're still at the first lunch, so it's all fine.
You know, they say it has to end bad or it wouldn't end. And it did end bad with Sammy,
Very
but
bad.
he, we like to remember the good times.
We remember the good times. That's the way people should be. Sami Zayn's a father. You know what I mean? He's got bigger fish to fry. CM Punk comes out of the cage. And like you just said, hugs the wise man. But he says that when it's time, he's gonna come collect on the favor.
He's going to cash in on that.
Yeah.
So what is it?
And then Roman Reigns, of course, acknowledges the wise man, Paul Heyman, gives him the nod. And Paul, to his credit, as much as we were speculating, and maybe it's because he showed up in Solo Sikoa cosplay 2 weeks ago, but as much as we were speculating, he does have this wave of relief that he has been welcomed back by his tribal chief. Will we get an explanation as to why Roman Reigns wasn't talking to Paul Heyman? Why Paul Heyman then wasn't talking to Roman Reigns?
Why was the phone disconnected?
I want to know. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. But it is a good time for wild speculation as to what the favor could be. To me, and we know this era that we're in, old Triple H loves his long stories. And I think that's a beautiful thing as a wrestling fan. Long stories are the best. He loves to be like...
Loves slow cooking.
Yes.
Loves to slow cook.
And I think he likes to walk the edge. You know what I mean? He likes to make people think this story is cooked. This is stupid. And he's like, you don't know what we're doing. You know what I mean? He likes to get just to the line of like, yeah, you guys have really lost touch with this one. And then go, oh, no, we were doing all this because we're doing that. And everybody goes, oh, you know what I mean?
Well, it's like the new Bloodline.
Yeah.
A lot of people, oh, this new Bloodline stinks. This is terrible. Solo's no good. This new Bloodline rules.
Yeah, of course it rules.
The OG Bloodline and the new Bloodline, SmackDown has been fire.
It's been fire. Ever since Jacob Fatu has been loving his tribal chief, since Solo Sikoa got super swaggy, even Tama Tonga, got super over. People are saying it at live events. He's scaling the cage like a spider. He's perched up on that top rope like some kind of like a bird of prey, like a vulture or something like that. I mean, this guy is scary. But my wild speculation on the secret. Do you have any guesses? You don't have to tell me just yet, but do you have any guesses? Yes or no?
No.
My wild speculation is we won't hear about this secret for some time. I mean, favor for some time. It is a secret. I feel like it has to be when Roman Reigns gets the WWE Championship back, Punk is first in line.
That's a long time to wait.
Is it? How long?
See, I was thinking we hear about this favor before WrestleMania.
I thought you were going to say Friday.
No. Just before WrestleMania.
Okay.
Maybe like Elimination Chamber time.
That's when you're looking to get the favor.
Well, I don't know. Is it really going to happen with the Rumble? We have a lot going on.
Well, think about it.
January 1 is going to be a big day. Well, January 6th, going to be a big day.
Huge day. And I think, too, that you're going to have a story now for CM Punk to go into.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a story now for Roman Reigns to get into. And that's what I mean. It's okay to put this stuff on the back burner because you're telling other stories. You're not dangling it over us. It's almost like, yeah, we're going to tuck that away. Like, we got this candy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, there's no expiration date on it. We're going to tuck it away because we got cake and pie over here. We're going to eat the cake and pie, and then you're going to digest it. Then you're going to have another meal. You're going to be like, oh, I thought there was dessert. Oh, yeah, the candy. I forgot I had that. That's the favor.
The only thing I'm concerned with is, does the lack of communication between Roman and Paul impact them, and does the favor come into play as it relates to that? Because if I'm Roman and
Right.
Paul is my wise man, I want to know who my wise man is going off making favors to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things where it's almost, you would imagine that Roman would go, okay, now that we're on the same page, we finished War Games. What the hell is the favor? Now, if he shows up on SmackDown on Friday, he goes, okay, Paul, what was the favor? And before Paul Heyman can tell him the favor, they get jumped by the new Bloodline. Now we're off to the races, right?
Yeah.
Now, okay, that's going to have to wait because now we got this to deal with. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the favor is going to go into the same cabinet that what was the gift that The Rock returned to Cody is going in,
okay,
right? Where
okay.
you can't, just because we're not getting the answer now,
We didn't forget. It's
doesn't
still
mean,
there.
and it's not going away.
No.
You just got to let it cook.
Yeah, let it cook. Okay.
It's in the green egg.
It is.
Slow cooking. So yeah, seeing them kill Solo Sikoa. Look, I would say where I was satisfied was it didn't feel like a holdover to just get to the next pay-per-view. I think that's where you start complaining, where you don't have any resolution. If you didn't get the resolution you thought you were going to get, okay, we can have a discussion about it, but it's not fair to go, yeah, that sucked because it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. That's, I mean, some things suck with a resolution because the resolution sucks,
Mm-hmm.
but it's hard for me to say that this sucks. The good guys won. I had kind of gone in thinking, okay, I got to prepare myself because I think the OG Bloodline is going to lose.
That's what I thought.
And I
Yep.
think the only way to do it is Solo Sikoa pins Roman Reigns
Yep.
again. And for the second pay-per-view in a row, Solo Sikoa is going to pin Roman Reigns. Every time I go into a pay-per-view thinking either Roman is going to pin Solo or Solo is going to pin Roman, the opposite happens. That's what happened last time. I go, well, the one thing that isn't going to happen in this tag match is Solo's not pinning Roman, and then Solo pins Roman, right? So I think it's interesting because clearly Solo pinning Roman at that show, at least for me, was effective. I know on the YouTube page, we put up a poll, and still the majority of the people thought the OG Bloodline was going to win. So maybe not for everybody, but for me, thinking and potentially overthinking it, I thought it was effective because I walked into War Games going, well, yeah, the new Bloodline's going to win. And that's at least partly because Solo and Jacob as a team were strong enough to beat the OG Bloodline at Crown Jewel.
And they were united on all fronts heading into it.
And I mean, they looked great throughout the match.
Yeah. And the OG Bloodline had a lot of questions. But you did ask at the beginning, like, am I satisfied with the end of War Games? And I think initially it's like, oh, I just thought there was gonna be more. But as we sit here and unpack our feelings and really talk about it and talk about where they're going, I don't know how you can be upset with the way it ended.
That's why this exercise is important.
Right?
Yes, that's why
Because as soon as it ends, it's like, oh, I thought Seth was going to come out. I thought we were going to have this surprise. And now I'm bummed. But when we really think about the slow cooking, about the direction, about the story of the bloodline and where the bloodline is going, you can't be upset.
Well, instead of thinking about what's not there, let's think about what is there. And this is kind of what we're talking about. And the idea that up until a couple hours ago, the new bloodline was looking crazy strong. I wasn't going to say this publicly, but I'm going to expose you.
Oh.
I'm going to expose you.
Okay.
It just is. You're here. I'm going to do it to your face.
I'm a little nervous.
I got a text message on a Friday night from this one, from Megan Morant. And she said, I don't want to say this. I'll only tell you. And I said, what is it? I go, you're pregnant. And she goes, yes, I told you that months ago. Everybody knows. I go, oh, okay. All right. I said this. I forgot. So sue me. And she goes, no, it's even bigger. I go, even bigger than your. She goes, yes, it's even bigger. I go, okay, what is it? She goes, I think I'm new bloodline. And I went, no. You did text me that, right? At least the last part.
I do think I'm new bloodline, though.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not be? Did you watch
even after
those?
tonight?
It is tougher after tonight. I thought tonight was going to be the night that I was solidified in it, right?
Of course, everybody did.
I just really thought, but they've been building so well. We got Swaggy Solo, who's been operating on a different level. Jacob has been outstanding. I love like every scene that they've been in, they've just amplified so much. And it went from a bloodline, like, what the heck are we doing with this group of people? And even when, like, okay, Big Bronson Reed gets added, I'm like, well, what's that going to do? And I know it's just for War Games, we think, but that was great too.
Yeah, it really was. And I mean, also, I think months ago, when people started to speculate wildly that we could get a Bloodline versus Bloodline War Games, everybody was like, what's even the point? You know what I mean? It'll be cool to see, but like, is anybody going to believe that the new Bloodline can beat the old Bloodline?
And you could.
Exactly.
The way we got here, you totally could believe it.
Exactly.
And also, Solo's song is just really doing it for me lately. Taking it all. Oh,
so that
good.
leads to my question as to where does the new bloodline go from here? The leader of the new bloodline was summarily put down by the OG bloodline. No ifs, ands, or buts. No surprises. No anything. They were beaten according to the rules of War Games with announced participants in the match. Solo took every finish, and his shoulders, the leader. They killed the snake by chopping off its head. So, does the bloodline just come out and attack him because they refuse to step down? Is there a scenario where, look, it took longer for it to happen, but when Roman Reigns lost without question, the one rebel of the group, Solo Sikoa, said, okay, I'm taking it all. It's mine now, right?
Yeah.
We just watched the leader of the new bloodline get taken down. No ifs, ands, or buts. Could the rebel of the new bloodline never say this again?
I love you, Solo!
Could Jacob turn on Solo because of this?
Now you're getting me upset. I don't want to think about this.
I know. He even said it in his NFL opening package. What college did you go to? I love you, Solo. Okay, all right, Jacob. Next.
Oh, what's gonna happen to the Krusty Lafala?
Right. Well, he can't get a replacement because the elders he doesn't want to deal with that.
No.
But but really, that to me is very compelling. Solo and the new bloodline have been walking around like they own the place because they own the place. But
and we
now,
can't forget it wasn't too long ago at SummerSlam when the final boss made an appearance.
Final boss was furious, it looked like, with Jimmy, with Roman, and with Cody. Is he going to say, well, Solo, you tried, but now I'm here to back you up? Is he going to be mad at Solo? Is he never been on Solo's side to begin with? I mean, where does the final boss fit into any of this? Or is he more mad at Cody than he is at anything to do with this bloodline
does he
stuff?
fit into this at all?
Right. We don't know. Beyond the end of the match, the paranoia that I had over somebody betraying somebody watching Paul Heyman be the one to get CM Punk and Roman Reigns on the same side once Roman had to scale the cage to get in because the door had been locked shut. And Roman didn't help Punk up, and Punk took umbrage, and Heyman finally had to come out and tell them, like, all this is not more important than winning War Games. This is all we have. And Paul Heyman said that. If we don't win this, we're done.
Yeah.
And we won this.
Yeah, he had that line, that amazing line about how Solo would destroy all of them.
Yes.
The only chance they have to survive is by working together.
I thought Punk coming out and pie facing Bronson Reed was a great moment. It just felt so real, so like, you know, like Broad Street bullies. I thought it was amazing. It's always amazing to see the Usos together. I never thought that they'd be separated enough for it to feel good to see them together again. Not that it didn't feel good to see them, but like to have that, like, oh, of course, this is the magic. And so to see Jimmy and Jay working together throughout most of this match was so much fun, so cool. Of course, the big splash from Jimmy.
And I mean, it's a testament to Jay and what he's done on his own, that when we see them back together, it's like, oh, nostalgia, old times.
Yeah.
Right?
And how about the fact that, like, when Alicia Taylor made the announcement that the Bloodline had won, it was Jimmy Uso, CM Punk, Sami Zayn, the OTC, Roman Reigns, and main event Jay Uso. Like, Jay Uso is up here now.
It used to be the Usos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly right. But seeing Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu work as a unit in the beginning of the match, like when it was the two of them in the ring just controlling everything, every time, because Jacob Fatu has been so kind of on an island to this Bloodline story. Every time we see him with somebody, whether it's with Bron Breakker on that one episode of Raw, whether it's working with Bronson Reed, you're like, this could be an amazing tag team. And then Bronson Reed doing the mist tsunami off the top of the cage.
Only just starting to see flashes of Jacob Fatu and what he's going to do in WWE.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Tons.
And I kind of, I feel like every time we see Bronson Reed in a bigger and bigger spotlight, he delivers more and more and more.
He's been on a roll.
I almost feel like we all thought we wanted CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. But the minute Drew McIntyre stepped into that CM Punk spotlight, we saw how great Drew McIntyre was, and it got that much bigger. Mm-hmm. I feel the same way with Bronson Reed. I don't think anybody was sitting there going like, oh, if only we got a Bronson Reed-Seth Rollins rivalry. But the minute Bronson Reed stepped into that Seth Rollins giant spotlight, it got bigger, and we all saw how good Bronson Reed is, and I think we saw it tonight, too.
Well, I almost thought when that started, I was like, oh, let's get through this so then we can get to Punk and Seth. But it's been so great, and Bronson steps up to the plate and is incredible each and every time he performs.
Yes. I liked the psychologies and the entrances. I liked that Solo Sikoa was a little bit more in that Roman Reigns spot from 2 years ago when Roman was sitting on the chair and just telling the team members when they should be going in, and they were blindly following it. Solo Sikoa was in that position for his team. Thought, no, not Tongaloa. Jacob, you go in there. And yeah, okay, let's go do it. Whereas Roman Reigns was a little bit more like, his team was all kind of looking at him. He put the arm up in front of Punk so that Sammy could go out. And then, it was such a wonderful moment just to see it play out when Roman starts like strutting to the open door of the cage so that he could go in second to last. And Punk just steps right in front of him without ever looking back and goes right into the ring. And
that was awesome.
Roman's just furious. Yeah, he's got a penance to pay. But yeah, so, all in all,
that was a moment there when I talked earlier. I said there was a little heel moment. To your point, you said Roman hasn't changed that much. And when he did that to Punk, I was like, ugh.
Right.
How dare you do that to Punk?
Right.
Jerk.
Right. And then Roman having to enter the cage with the new Bloodline all standing tall. I mean, look, that to me, right, is going to be the most fascinating thing of all, because you talk about CM Punk making this deal with Roman Reigns and us watching Roman Reigns' ascension, right? The idea is that at some point Roman is going to be able to finally reclaim his spot and be the WWE champion and be the head of the table and be the tribal chief. once Roman has that power back, how much has Roman changed? And will people regret ever helping him?
It's a big question.
Huge question.
Yeah.
Isn't it fun to think about?
Yeah.
Right? Because we're so locked into where we are right now, which is how we should be.
Yeah.
But think, 3-4 steps ahead. And like eventually he has said he wants the power back that they had and more. What did they do with the power when they had it? He had completely abused it.
Of course.
Destroyed the WWE. Like the whole roster was like, this is the whole build to WrestleMania. Seth Rollins' whole reason for being was to get the title away from Roman Reigns. That was the only point of any of this.
Yeah. I mean, he has to change.
Does he? If it ain't broke.
I don't know.
I've upset you again.
Yeah. Now really you have the feelings are processing.
Well, I think we significantly broke down that men's war game match, unless we missed anything.
I don't think we missed a thing.
I think we got it.
Yeah.
We had the Gunther Damian Priest match, which I thought was great. Look, I'm gonna say, so I found the build up to this match to be one of my favorite Gunther match build-ups that we've seen.
Because we saw something completely different outside of Gunther. I think Cole had a stat. He's like, Gunther has been a champion in WWE like 73% of the time that he's been a WWE superstar, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But we've never seen him on his back. Like, we've never seen Gunther questioning himself. We've never seen him enter a match being like, oh, Gunther might lose. And that's exactly how he entered his World Heavyweight Championship match against Damian Priest. And Damian Priest, I mean, we talk about Swaggy Solo.
Whoa.
How about Street King Priest?
Oh, he's my Street King.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not a short king, but he's a Street King.
Street King.
Street King, Damian Priest. And he was that. And I like, they're doing such a good job with like all these little elements that they're putting in. Finn Balor coming out. Because we thought this was over. Now, we never had a real conclusion other than Damian Priest saying, I'm done with this. I mean, now's as good a time as ever to bring up Dominic Mysterio does hold a victory over Damian Priest. We should mention that.
I was waiting for the Dominic Mysterio mention.
Well, it should be mentioned.
Podcast.
It's important.
Yeah, I mean, we just needed it.
We needed it.
Yeah.
We'll do Raw Talk on Monday. We'll talk about Damian Priest again. Yeah, it'll be important. But I think that Damian saying, okay, I'm done with the Judgment Day. It is what it is. And Finn Balor going, no, you're not. No, you're really not done.
You're never going to be done with us.
Right. But, so, we see Gunther fighting from beneath, like you said. We see Gunther on his way to this match, ridding himself of Ludwig Kaiser, but ridding himself of Ludwig Kaiser in a way that you truly feel like is best for Ludwig Kaiser. He's not saying, get away from me, you're no good. He's saying, you know what, dude? You need to go and show the world what you can do. Go off and do your thing, little birdie. Fly, little birdie, fly, leave the nest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we watch him on his own conquer this thing that was holding him back. We see Finn Balor interfere in the match.
Gunther did not like that.
That's right. Before Gunther takes advantage of Damian Priest by putting him to sleep, he takes out Finn Balor for interfering in his match.
He had to, because this is the kind of champion that Gunther is.
What kind of champion?
A dominant champion. He needs to do it completely by himself.
And a fair champion?
A fair champion.
We're getting sprinkles of a babyface champion.
Uh-oh.
This is what I was picking up on. What if Gunther...
Because Gunther didn't just take advantage of the interference.
No,
he said no.
He was mad.
Yeah.
Now, it's in Gunther's character that any weakness, of course he will take advantage of it in the sense that when Damian Priest's shoulder was hurt, he went right after the shoulder.
Yep.
Damian Priest is laid out. I'm not happy about him catching that stomp from Finn Balor, but you better believe I'm getting him in the ring and putting him to sleep. That's what I do. Powerbomb, put him to sleep, right? Mm-hmm. I'm still going to put the work in, but I'm not going to say, hey, gee, I shouldn't win this way. I'm winning this match. regardless.
And the sleeper, it's a definitive win.
Yes, but you interfere in my match, I'm kicking you in the face. This is what I'm doing. I don't care if it's for my benefit or not. You're catching a kick in the face. And I'm just saying that Gunther acted in a way that was of high moral character, that was of high standing, and that, I mean, bordered on respectable. Which makes me go, I don't know. He doesn't seem like that much of a villain to me.
Can we still have heel Gunther for Bill Goldberg, though? I mean, I just need heel Goldberg. I mean, heel Gunther specifically for the Bill Goldberg match.
Bill
if
Goldberg.
It happens.
But, okay, you're right. But who's cheering for Bill Goldberg instead of Gunther?
No one.
Name
Not
one person. Not me.
No one.
Are you going to cheer for Goldberg instead
No.
of... No, nobody's going to. And this is what I mean. This is relationships and personalities have layers, and we're operating in a WWE world where not everything has to be hit you over the head with a hammer simple.
Yeah.
It's like Gunther doesn't have to change who he is to kind of be just a little more of high moral character, and it will open him up, I think, to having matches with good guys and with bad guys now, which I think could be good. Now, I'm not saying this is it's just what I perceived. It's just feelings.
Yeah.
It's just my feelings watching the Gunther match. But yeah, I mean, and I thought Damian Priest, they did a good job of making Damian Priest look very, very strong, hitting that Hurricane Run off the top rope, hitting the Razor's Edge with that real close kick out. I mean, it's one of those things where it has to be done artfully, but the interference made it so maybe Gunther, maybe Damian Priest would have won, but also Gunther deserved to win regardless. So that way you've got a good finish that you feel good about.
Yep.
The champion is the champion, but nobody is buried by it, which is a beautiful
not one
thing.
Person.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I thought the triple threat.
I thought that was, I think, my favorite match. The triple
All
threat.
told, with 2 War Games matches, the triple threat was so good.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Is it not amazing that this is what Sheamus does for all the matches? It's not like he's like, look, I've been going for a long time. At this point, I'll give you 3 of these a year. He's like, no, I'm good for about 2 a month. I will do every match that I have. I'm leaving with welts. The other guy's leaving with welts. All the matches, all of them, we're going to get into a real fight, and everyone's going to be hurting badly. This is how I prefer to do my business.
I think my favorite moment, potentially, like in-ring moment of the PLE was, and technically it's not even in the ring, Bron Breakker with the announce table, Ludwig and Sheamus.
Yeah.
I mean, how good is Bron Breakker? And what really excited me so much about this match is, like, first of all, Bron is on a different level.
Yeah.
There were comparisons made to Randy Orton and building a superstar and how Bron is on that level and what he possesses athletically, his build, his look, everything about him. But then you have Ludwig Kaiser, who are just...
And he keeps getting scary better.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he hasn't even been doing this that long.
No.
And then you have Ludwig Kaiser, who's very experienced, different path than Bron Breakker. But we're just scratching the surface on what we're going to see from him as a singles competitor. And then you have Sheamus, who, as you mentioned, he's been doing this forever, and he's just going and going and going. I loved this match so much. I would have been happy however it ended because I just thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's almost like a couple of years ago, I want to say it was Sheamus versus Gunther at Clash at the Castle.
Oh, it was so good.
That was the match, right? Yeah, one of my favorite matches. Honestly, it's going to go down high on my list. But I feel like that match happened, and Sheamus was like, I could just do this all the time, by the way.
Right?
And people were like, what? And because I feel like ever since then, I won't use the word banger because it's enough.
Yeah.
Sheamus can use it. I have no problem with that. But a lot of people are using it now. But every match since that match has been like, no, I'm going to do this every single time. I also love moments where you almost test the audience to see, do you want this? Do you know how badly you want this? There was a moment where Sheamus was getting the pinfall. And the Chiron under him, when he came to the ring, said he's looking to win the Intercontinental title for the first time. He's never won it. 1, 2, myself at home, you, the audience in the building were going, it's going to happen. And then Kaiser at 2 3/4 grabs the referee. And that's when, if you didn't realize before, you realize, oh, man.
That would have been pretty good, huh?
I didn't realize how much I wanted that moment.
Yeah, it was so well done. And it was at a point where you almost forgot that Kaiser was even involved in the match.
Right. So at the end, Kaiser catches that absolutely wicked spear.
Yeah.
Insane. And then Sheamus, who they done such a great job grabbing his ribs because he's selling the ribs from a previous injury. Commentary's already put over that his ribs are hurt. And boom, he catches a spear right in the ribs. That intensity that you can't fake from Bron Breakker, just hyping up and hyping up and hyping up. Boom. Hits 1, 2, 3. And as much as we would have loved the Sheamus moment, you can't get mad when Bron Breakker wins a match.
You can't. And I was thinking about it because I had that same feeling where I realized, oh, Sheamus as IC champ would be awesome. And I didn't realize how awesome it would be until Ludwig prevented it from happening. But then when I was thinking about Bron as IC champ, you know, he was a champ and then Jey Uso became the champ and now Bron is the champ again. I'm like, let's let this one cook too.
Yeah.
Right? I want to see that.
Yeah, I do too. And I'm glad that they are. I wasn't ready for Bron's title reign to end. What I did find myself ready for, and God bless, this is no disrespect to anybody, but they announced earlier this week that they were going to do LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Championship. And at first, I was kind of associating Shinsuke with kind of the way we saw him previously before he was kind of gone for months.
Cody. That one?
That's the one.
I love Shin.
He's the greatest. So good. But I'm going, okay, credible guy for LA Knight to beat in a U.S. title match. Sounds good. And then I watched SmackDown on Friday. And I saw this new presentation of Shinsuke. And I went,
ooh, with the paint under the eyes?
I went, oh my God. And the new theme.
Yeah.
And I'm going, I like this. And then when I'm going like, okay. And then he hit Andrade with that Kinshasa in the back of the head. And I'm going, oh, that felt even more brutal than it used to. When he was standing there victoriously and LA Knight runs in the ring and Shinsuke hits LA Knight with the mist, but he does it in a way where he never moves his arms. He barely moves his body. He just knew the whole time LA Knight was there and he just goes, you know what I mean? Just kind of subtly moves his feet, hits him full force.
Oh, yeah.
But barely moves any other part of his body. And I go, this guy is a ninja artist. This guy's amazing. And that's when I was like, he's got to win the U.S. title. I understand we got LA Knight fever, but Shinsuke has to win the United States Championship. Then he comes out tonight, and the entrance is even grander with a mask and everything. And it's like still his music, but you can't really sing along to it anymore, which is by design. And he's still showing his flexibility, but he's not doing the cool Michael Jackson yoga moves. He's got that man, like the whole thing. I was like, this guy, I'm going to say it, effing rules. Okay?
He does. And what I love about the way Shinsuke evolves, and he's evolved before, right? But it's subtle, but drastic at the same time.
Right.
And it's so effective. We're like, I know this character because I've followed Shinsuke, but this is a totally different version, yet it still has the pieces of what I know.
And I thought Corey Graves did a great job of talking about how Shinsuke always felt that he left the real Shinsuke behind in Japan when he came over here, and now he's brought that Shinsuke back, which, like, I watched Wrestle Kingdom. That's not why. I mean, he was not this scary at Wrestle Kingdom. He was physical. He was the king of strong style. But like, this is frightening. And I absolutely love it. I thought it was so nuts that not only did he win the championship, but he dominated him. It didn't take him long.
No.
And he assaulted LA Knight. I thought they did a good job on commentary of putting over the fact that this LA Knight's off his game.
Yeah, this was not close.
Right. And it was just there. Shinsuke has done something where he's gotten into LA Knight's head. And I thought that was also necessary. What I'd love to see, I don't want to see a rematch at Saturday night's main event.
No, I don't need that.
You know, what I want to see is LA Knight realizing, he does have to change things. I think this is the time where we start to see kind of a little bit, don't have to go deep, but a little bit of what's under the surface with LA Knight. I feel like this character with the look and the vest and the catchphrases and the glasses and all this, we know it all. We love it.
We do.
We love it. We love LA Knight. LA Knight's great. We love it. But what else is there? What's under there? What makes you tick, right? It's time to start peeling back those layers because that's what it takes these days in WWE to be one of those top characters is to be multifaceted. And I think that the slow reveal of who LA Knight is, coupled with the rise of Shinsuke into this like unstoppable machine, I'd like to see LA Knight spend a couple of months finding who he is, rebuilding, showing the audience a new side of him, and evolving the same way Shinsuke has. Doesn't have to, not to say LA Knight needs to go dark. Stay LA Knight.
Yeah.
But just a more fully formed version. And let Shinsuke become a bigger and bigger threat to the point where when LA Knight does have that rematch, yes, he's a different LA Knight, but we have a much different Shinsuke who's a bigger threat. And now when LA Knight is finally able to win the United States Championship back, he's beaten somebody that is even more credible than the person who beat him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and then LA Knight, if he can ever take down this version of Shinsuke, the new version of LA Knight, I mean, he's even a bigger star
now
than
he's
he
got,
was
yeah.
when he won at SummerSlam. As long as he doesn't become Max Dupree, I'm totally on board. But it would be kind of funny if all of a sudden he was like, "I'm now Max.
I'm Max. I'm Max Dupree. I'm an agent."
Oh,
no,
so
yeah,
funny.
no, but I would.
It would be terrible, but so funny.
Why is he clean shaven? Oh no,
Not again.
No, but yeah, I do think that's what's next. To have Shinsuke go through some people, to have LA Knight take that journey, and then to have the people really want to see LA Knight dethrone Shinsuke and have that happen.
Well, the people still love LA Knight.
Oh, they love him.
Yeah.
Love him.
Yes.
And I think that I mean, I just think that that's because also I think what happened is a Logan Paul match, all due respect to everybody involved, a Logan Paul match is a big match. It's a big spotlight. But Logan Paul defended his title 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, Logan Paul is a spotlight match, but Logan's not a mountain to climb.
Shinsuke is a mountain.
Turn Shinsuke, right, into an even bigger mountain where it's like beating Shinsuke is that big victory that fans have been wanting to see for LA Knight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the ride.
Yeah, I am too. We got to ride with the women's War Games match. I do want to say something to everybody. This isn't for the women. This is for men too, because the men were doing it like crazy, okay? If you're in a War Games match, and I can only speak on what I've observed, okay? Megan was like, oh, it must be driving you crazy that these fans are chanting, "We want tables." I don't like it when fans chant, "We want tables." They'll get to the tables. They always do. But something was driving me even more crazy in both War Games matches. This is for all War Games participants, okay?
Okay.
You have matches to get the advantage in a War Games match. That's how precious the advantage is. You have 3 minutes to take advantage of the advantage. You have 3 minutes to either outnumber your opposing team or to finally even the odds. Do not spend a third of that time pulling weapons out from under the ring. Strategize with your team. First person to go into War Games gets all the weapons and puts them in. All the weapons we need, have the first person get it, and then we go into War Games. Do not, if you got 3 minutes, now you got 2:15 because you're pulling out tables and chairs and toolboxes and toilet seats and everything you could find under the sun. It's more valuable to spend the 3 minutes beating somebody down, and then either the last person gets the weapons or the first person gets the weapons. But don't waste your time every single time getting weapons. You're not taking advantage of the advantage.
Strategically, it's a very good point that I definitely overlooked because you were texting me about how upset you were over these weapons. So when I got here, I'm like, so explain to me now.
Yeah.
Why are you upset about it? But it does make sense from a teamwork standpoint. It's like, okay, you Sam are our weapons guy.
Yeah.
This is what we need. We need a toilet seat.
Right.
We need 2 trash cans.
Right.
We need 3 tables, and we need 6 chairs.
Now look, if you're EO and you got a special garbage can, that's fine. If you're CM Punk and you got a special toolbox because it was your Hell in a Cell match, that's fine. But everyone else, just leave it to the weapons person. I also love that you got that text and you were like, I don't know what he's talking about. This is an in-person thing. We're not going to figure this out
He's
over
very
text.
upset over the weapons. I don't know. I'll just wait till I see him.
I thought the women's match was a lot of fun. Rhea's mask. Rhea's looking for Mattel to do another Ultimate Edition because her mask was awesome. She wrestled in that awesome mask, which I'll bet the old folks behind the Bray Wyatt masks.
It looked like that.
I'll bet that was a Jason Baker original.
The gear was awesome.
The gear was awesome. It matched the mask, and then she took off the mask, and she had this badass paint on.
Yeah,
and I'm in. I'm in. Rhea Ripley is such a star.
She is.
I mean, is she not incredible?
She's amazing. I mean, not that Rhea Ripley can't pull off just the black mask, but the black mask with the black hair, it was too dark. When she came out with this new mask and said, now this is the mommy that I want to see.
Right. And isn't it amazing, too, that in January, you and I interviewed Liv Morgan on The Bump. And that's when I remember specifically asking her, somebody else wrote the question for me, do you have any goals except revenge for WrestleMania? And she had this look in her eyes like, I know that I should be saying something else, but she just went, no.
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 And you said, you have no goals? She said, no goals, just revenge.
Just revenge.
And it's amazing that this is the place that we're in right now. And I was thinking about it a lot, just watching the arrival shot of Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
How much this superstar has grown into who she is, right? It wasn't long ago where we were all loving this Jersey girl who finally had her moment, won Money in the Bank, and cashed in that night, and she is the champion. Stole all of our hearts.
Dude, it wasn't that long ago that we were watching a documentary about the fact that, like, she was waiting for creative to have something.
Correct.
You know?
And now she is one of the faces of the entire women's division.
Yeah.
I could not get over, like, it's Liv's team against Rhea's team.
And that's what I was going to say.
Wait, what? Liv's team?
Yeah.
And none of it is weird. None of it seems abnormal because this is as big of a star as Liv Morgan has become. It has just happened so unbelievably fast, and it's been I love every second of it.
Yeah,
because Liv has completely owned this character.
Yeah, and I think too, what strikes me every time, and it did tonight too, was you go, yeah, Rhea Ripley is like the biggest star in the world, and then Liv stands next to her, and you're just like, well, there's 2 stars.
Yep.
Like Liv's right there. Not sitting there going like, oh, one day I'll be as big a star as you. Not here, let me borrow some of your spotlight. Not any of it. Who is a big enough star to fight Rhea Ripley? Liv Morgan.
Yep. And when Rhea Ripley beat Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, I almost felt like, oh, this is the era of Rhea. And then when Rhea got hurt and Liv won the title, I thought, oh, this will just go on until Rhea's ready. No. Liv is a star.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. To the point where it's like, you thought, yeah, this was like Liv is champion as a placeholder until Rhea gets back, like you just said. And today, I'm telling you right now, I'm not ready for the Liv Morgan tour to end.
I'm not ready either.
No. And we got Rhea, and that's not to say I was ready for Rhea Ripley's thing to end, but I like Liv Morgan as the champion.
I love this version of Liv Morgan.
So I
loved the old version too. And that's what, like, the hard thing is watching, like, we all fell in love with babyface Liv and we just wanted to cheer her on. And now heel Liv, we love her in a different way.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that. It's almost like, I mean, she's a different person now. She's ascended.
Totally different.
Like, to the point where, like,
she's not just happy to be there anymore. She belongs.
She has the vibe now where before you would run into her and you go, oh, hey, Liv, it's Liv Morgan. Now it's like, oh my God, that's Liv Morgan. You know?
That's it.
And that's when you know that somebody's become like a superstar. So shout out to Naomi coming to the ring on a birthday. How was her birthday? That's fantastic. Happy birthday to Naomi.
Yeah.
I thought it was great that the commentators, because there were people going like, well, this babyface women's team doesn't make any sense. They don't get along. And the commentators acknowledged all of it.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, there is tension here. These guys haven't gotten along in previous months. All of them have different problems with Bayley. There were multiple times where Bayley was looking, going, I don't know if I fit into this group or not. I'm trying to prove to them that I do. We had the Bayley and Nia Jax start off for the match, which I thought was surprising just because of the gravity of both of those humans, but ultimately it made sense. I thought Tiffany Stratton and Io Sky paired up was the pair that I didn't know that I wanted to see, but now that's one of those tandems that if you told me in 2025 we're just getting Io Sky versus Tiffany Stratton matches every week, I go, oh, it sounds like a great year. Sounds fantastic.
They're fantastic. Like, they're so good.
Amazing. And even their chemistry, like before they got up there, right? When they were just doing the back and forth. And
immediately once Tiffany entered and we had those moments where it was just Io and Tiffany, it was like, oh, this is it.
This is it. And they were kind of looking at each other. Io was kind of laughing at like, oh my God, even I can tell how good this is. Seeing them both on top of that cage. I mean, that trash can being put up there, it's the loaded gun theory, where if you show a loaded gun in the first scene of a movie, somebody by the end of that movie is getting shot. That's what happens, right? And so when Io Sky shows up and she's got that purple and gold garbage can and it's up there and it just stays on top of the cage the whole time, you're like, she's going up there. She's going up there. And by God, she's going up there. And I thought to myself, I wonder if we'll get some kind of prettiest moonsault or something from the top of the cage. And then I see they're both on opposite ends of the cage in two different rings. We see Io not just do a big splash, but a moonsault with the garbage can on. Tiffany Stratton doing that swanton off the top of the cage. I mean, the damnedest thing.
The athleticism out of both of them.
It's crazy. Crazy and insanity. Not just athleticism, absolute insanity.
Because it's not like they're just doing this from the top rope, which also is crazy. They're doing this from the top of a cage.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine standing up there and like looking down and going like, yeah, I'm doing this.
Yeah, let me put a garbage bin over my head.
I just go for it. We saw the spot with the fake cash-in attempt. One more for Tiffany Stratton. She pulled the Money in the Bank briefcase out of the garbage can. That's how she snuck it into the cage.
Yep.
Now, look, I thought Michael Cole did the right thing by saying, how would this even work? Because it doesn't make any sense.
No.
It's like the same way when people were like, oh, maybe she'll cash in at Crown Jewel and become the Crown Jewel champion. I go, that's not how the briefcase works. The only reason Seth Rollins was able to cash in the middle of a WWE championship match and make it a triple threat match was because it was already a match for that title.
Yeah, this wasn't a match for any title.
No, so if Tiff had cashed in, by my math, she would have cashed in, she would have pinned Nia Jax, she would have become the WWE Women's Champion. Then the match would have continued.
They'd have to finish War Games.
And they're still on the same team.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing.
I'm glad.
And so then they would have lost.
Yeah.
Because the other team won. They would have lost, except Tiff would have been like, it was kind of good. I did win the title.
I'm glad they brought it up though, because I
Yeah.
just like to be reminded that there is this
It's floating.
elephant in the room.
Mhm.
There is this tension, and it exemplifies the power that Tiffany does have in WWE.
What if Tiffany wins the United States Championship and the Women's Championship, the WWE Women's Championship?
Wow,
Could happen.
Tiffy 2 belts.
I see Tiffy not winning the United States Championship. I see her, she's not advancing in the tournament, in my opinion. But I think she'll cash in at Saturday night's main event. That's my new prediction.
Okay,
I thought it was going to
like
happen
that.
before.
Well, I'm interested now. We've been following for a couple weeks now this tension between Tiffany and Candice LeRae, and we saw it expand a little bit tonight
Yes.
when Candice cut Tiffany off and exiting the cage.
Well, what if Candice becomes Nia's new second?
Mm-hmm.
And in the maybe before or after Tiff cashes in, Tiff beats Nia for the title. Now Nia's coming after Tiff, and she's got Candice LeRae by her side, so we don't lose the dynamic. I think that could be good.
I think that could definitely be good.
Yeah.
Candice had a good night. I was happy.
I
to
was
see
real happy Candice was in it.
Yeah.
I think she's awesome. And then I was thought Rhea Ripley should pin Liv Morgan here because she hasn't been able to beat Liv, and it enables her to get that victory without Liv having to lose the title. The little accent on it that I loved was Raquel handcuffed to the rope, and you could see her in the background as the referee's hand is counting to 3. Raquel just going, no, and she's handcuffed to the rope.
I do like the Raquel element of this story too, because Raquel and Rhea have quite the history going back to NXT.
Mm-hmm.
So I do love this whole dynamic between Liv, Raquel, Rhea. And there was a while where we talked about this just a little bit, where it was like, oh, just have Liv hold over the title, hold over the story, and then it will be Rhea's time. And the story keeps getting better and better and better.
And I have to imagine Dominic Mysterio would have 100% helped in that scenario, but they were in Canada, and sometimes people have trouble crossing the border
Yeah,
if they have
especially
certain
a criminal record.
Well, we don't need to get into all the details of why that all would be.
Well,
I do want to see Dominic versus Rhea at WrestleMania.
it would be great.
It would be, wouldn't it?
I think we need it.
I would rather see Dominic versus Rhea at WrestleMania. Like, I would like Liv to not lose the championship because Dominic interferes. And then Rhea goes, you know what? Screw it. I want you. I want to fight you, Dominic.
You
Liv,
would rather that than Liv and Rhea again?
I would rather Rhea beat Dominic than Liv lose the title.
Okay.
That's what I think. That's my preference.
I think we could get it. I think we definitely could get Rhea Dominic.
But what if Rhea beats Liv, challenges Dominic, Dominic beats Rhea, Dominic is the women's world champion? Does that work for you?
I know it works for you. I don't think it works for me.
Well, listen, what a night. Survivor Series was fantastic. A lot of fun. I'm interested in what you guys think. Leave it in the audio reviews or the comments on YouTube or whatever. We got a lot more to talk about. We'll talk about it all on Monday. Don't forget to get over to notsam.com for the Feelings Drop. The Not Sam Wrestling Emergency Podcast merch is available right now for a very limited time, however many days. It was a 10-day pre-order. So right around a week left on the pre-order. So get the pre-orders in now. Once the pre-order's done, the merch won't be available anymore. And it's good quality stuff.
It's great. I have one.
Oh, look at that.
I have
That's
a
quite a
Feelings
flex.
sweatshirt.
That's quite a flex.
Not to brag.
Megan, I always appreciate you coming here, not only watching the pay-per-view with me, or the premium live event, but sharing your feelings with us.
Yeah, thanks for helping me unpack them, because I am feeling a lot better. I was a little unsure as that music video rolled, but now I'm feeling much better, and I'm ready to head into another week of WWE.
That's why we do what we do. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.